used to think that the worst thing that could happen to a bride-to-be was a catering disaster or a dress malfunction. I was wrong. The worst thing is watching your carefully constructed life burn down in a spectacular, agonizing fire, ignited by the two people you trusted most, your fiancé and your own sister. The title says it all, but it doesn't convey the gut-wrenching betrayal, the cold calculation of my family, or the absolute, methodical revenge I took. Our wedding was 3 months away. It was going to be an event, not ostentatious, but perfectly detailed. Ethan and I had been together since college. 8 years of history cemented by a beautiful engagement ring, and a fully paid-for venue overlooking the coast. We were the couple everyone admired. Financially stable, deeply committed, and crucially, the anchors of our extended family. I was 29, successful in my marketing career, and had always been the dependable, easy daughter. Then there was Chloe, my sister, 5 years younger, 24, and still searching for her purpose. She was the perpetually defended one, the baby of the family, the artistic spirit who needed more understanding and support. This often translated to mom and dad shielding her from any consequence, while I was expected to be the one who handled the heavy lifting. Chloe had conveniently moved in with us temporarily 6 months ago, ostensibly to help with wedding planning and save up money for her own apartment. In reality, she was a professional houseguest, using our comfortable home and my fiancé's generous nature as a safety net. In the final frantic push to the wedding date, I was running on fumes. I noticed small shifts I dismissed as stress-induced paranoia. Ethan and Chloe spending long stretches in the living room while I was on work calls, their sudden, shared laughter over inside jokes I didn't understand, and a general air of subdued nervousness whenever I entered a room. They had always been friendly, but this felt different, clandestine. I told myself it was just them bonding over the tedious task of seating charts. Oh, how naive I was. The discovery wasn't cinematic, it was brutally mundane. I was emptying the small trash can in our master bathroom, a task I performed because Ethan never remembered to, and deep under a pile of tissue paper, I saw it. A tiny plastic stick, unmistakable, with 2 bright pink lines. A positive pregnancy test. My heart didn't just drop, it froze in my chest. For one horrifying second, I thought I had missed a period. But no, I was meticulously tracking my cycles to adjust my medication before the wedding. I knew it wasn't mine. That only left one other woman who had been using that bathroom daily for 6 months. I didn't scream or cry. I felt a cold, paralyzing clarity. I placed the test stick carefully on the vanity and walked directly into Ethan's home office. He was on a conference call, but the second he saw my face, my utter lack of emotion, the stillness in my body, he knew. I didn't say a word. I simply pointed back towards the bathroom. He ended the call instantly, muttering some hurried excuse. "What is it, Sarah?" he asked, trying for casual innocence. "Go look in the trash can," I said, my voice barely a whisper, yet harder than stone. He returned 5 minutes later, pale, sweat beading on his forehead. He didn't have to confirm it. The shame radiating off him was thick enough to choke on. He collapsed onto the couch, head in his hands. "She's 8 weeks along," he mumbled, his voice thick with self-pity, not remorse. "It was a mistake. A couple of times. You were so busy with work and the wedding, and Chloe was just here and..." The justifications poured out, pathetic and weak. He blamed my busyness, he blamed the proximity, he blamed the stress. He never once blamed his own monstrous lack of loyalty. I stood over him, my hands shaking not from sadness, but from a terrifying, icy rage. I had just lost my future husband and my sister in the space of 1 minute. The realization that they had been lying intimately, under my roof while discussing my bridesmaids' dresses, made me physically sick. I didn't waste time on platitudes. "Get dressed. Call Chloe. We are having a family meeting tonight. You tell them nothing until we are all sitting at the table." The family dinner, which I instantly renamed the tribunal, was a nightmare painted in muted suburban colors. My parents arrived, sensing the emergency. Chloe and Ethan walked in together, looking like 2 condemned teenagers, leaning on each other for moral support. I didn't allow small talk. I placed the pregnancy test, now enclosed in a Ziploc bag, in the center of the dining table. My parents stared at it, bewildered. That, I announced, pointing the end of a silver fork at the plastic stick, belongs to Chloe. And the father is Ethan, my fiancé. The silence that followed wasn't just quiet, it was deafening. My mother gasped, my father swore under his breath, and Chloe immediately burst into theatrical, self-pitying tears, clutching her small bump. This is where the true, unforgivable betrayal began. I expected fury directed at them. I expected shame. What I got was a strategic pivot, a calculated family defense of the weakest link. Stop crying, sweetie. My mother instantly rushed to Chloe's side, rubbing her back. She didn't spare me a single glance. It's going to be okay. It happens. My father cleared his throat, leaning forward. Sarah, you need to understand the gravity of this. Chloe is young. This is a huge life change for her. A baby is coming, and that is what matters now. I was dumbfounded. What about me? What about the 8 years, the wedding, the trust? He slept with my sister in my house. You're strong, Sarah, my mother said, using the fatal word. You're established. You'll bounce back. But Chloe, she's only 24. She needs stability, and this baby needs a father. Ethan is a good provider. He's in the family now. My father chimed in with the final, sickening verdict. We need to protect her. If you make a scene, if you expose this publicly, you will ruin their chances, and that child will suffer. You need to quietly call off the wedding, tell everyone you had a falling out, and be the bigger person. They were defending the crime and protecting the criminals. They were choosing a mediocre, compromised future for their vulnerable daughter over my pain, my dignity, and the future I had earned. In that moment, I realized my role in the family wasn't daughter or sister. It was the disposable adult, the one strong enough to absorb the shock of their selfishness. I stood up slowly, pushing my chair back. The coldness I had felt earlier intensified, crystallizing into a terrifying, laser-focused intention. I didn't scream. I didn't beg. You have all made your choice, I stated, looking at Ethan, Chloe, and my parents in succession. You have decided that the value of an unscheduled, illegitimate pregnancy outweighs the value of an 8-year commitment, trust, and my emotional stability. You have chosen the lie over the truth, and the weak over the loyal. I picked up the Ziploc bag with the test. This is not going to be a quiet annulment. This is not going to be a clean break. You wanted to protect Chloe's future and Ethan's reputation? I promise you, with every fiber of my being, that I will make sure they pay the highest possible price for this betrayal. And since you sanctioned it, I address my parents. Consider this our final family gathering. You are all dead to me. I walked out of the house and straight to my phone. I didn't sleep. I didn't cry. I made calls. I called the wedding planner and canceled everything, losing $40,000 in non-refundable deposits. But that was just the beginning. The next morning, I secured an appointment with Anya Sharma, a shark of a family law attorney known for her aggressive tactics and zero tolerance for spousal abuse, which we defined as extreme emotional distress and fraud. I laid out the entire story, detailing the wedding contracts, the co-owned house, and my parents' complicity. Anya was ecstatic. We will not just get your money back, Sarah. We will make them feel pain in the only place they understand: their wallets and their reputations. My methodical plan for financial execution began immediately. First, the house. Ethan and I owned a beautifully renovated colonial. I had put down 75% of the original down payment from an inheritance, though the title was joint. Anya immediately filed a partition lawsuit, forcing the sale of the house. We argued that since the relationship was terminated due to egregious fraud, sleeping with a family member, and causing emotional distress, my initial investment, plus the cost of all renovations I personally oversaw and financed, should be returned before the 50-50 split of the remaining equity. Ethan was blindsided. He had assumed he'd live there with Chloe, or at least walk away with a clean 50%. The legal maneuver meant the sale was rushed, chaotic, and most of the cash was earmarked for me. Second, the wedding deposits. The contracts for the venue, the florist, the photographer, and the caterer were all in my name. Ethan had paid one large vendor deposit for the DJ and lighting, using funds from our joint account that I could prove were primarily contributed by me. While I lost the initial $40,000, Anya and I went after him for damages incurred due to breach of fiduciary trust and fraud. We calculated what he owed me for the mental stress, the wasted time, and the financial exposure. The goal wasn't just to retrieve the money, but to make the legal fees astronomical for him. I didn't post on Reddit, not immediately. I did something far more devastating. 2 weeks before the scheduled wedding date, I sent an update on the celebration email to all 300 guests. The email was cordial, polite, and absolutely brutal. Due to an unforeseen and deeply personal act of unforgivable betrayal involving a close family member and Ethan, the wedding has been canceled. I will be taking time to heal and rebuild my life, severed from those who valued convenience over decency. Please understand I cannot discuss specifics, but know that I am doing the right thing for my long-term peace. The fallout was instant and viral within our social circle. My carefully crafted ambiguity, unforgivable betrayal involving a close family member, meant everyone knew it was bad, and the whispers started immediately. Within 48 hours, a mutual friend, who was initially going to be Chloe's bridesmaid, called me hysterical, having figured it out. I confirmed nothing but offered no denial. The news spread like wildfire. Ethan, who worked in a small, tight-knit industry, was suddenly that guy. His professional reputation, which relied heavily on trust, took an immediate hit. He lost 2 major consulting contracts within a month. Chloe, who relied on social media for her art, was facing a barrage of thinly veiled shade and sudden unfollows. My parents were livid, but they couldn't reach me. I changed my number, blocked their emails, and instructed my building concierge not to let them in. They finally resorted to sending a formal, certified letter, penned by my father. The letter was a masterpiece of narcissistic abuse. They accused me of scorched earth tactics, of destroying the family name, and of punishing an innocent unborn child. They demanded I drop the lawsuits and come home and talk sense, reminding me that Chloe was carrying the next generation. I wrote a short, 2-paragraph reply on my lawyer's letterhead and sent it back via certified mail. I explicitly detailed the financial damage Ethan had caused, the legal steps I was taking, and then addressed them directly. The choice you made at the dining table was a declaration that my pain was secondary to your preference. When you told me I was strong enough to bear the burden of betrayal, you confirmed my dispensability. I am now choosing myself. You defended the people who stabbed me in the back. You are no longer entitled to any part of my life. Every future attempt to contact me will be forwarded to my legal team as harassment. That was the last communication I initiated. The legal process was grueling, lasting over a year. But with Anya's help, I emerged financially victorious. I received a significant settlement from the house sale, effectively getting back my original investment and profit, leaving Ethan with minimal liquidity. He had to pay back the portion of the DJ deposit I could prove was mine, plus my astronomical legal fees, which was the real win. Ethan and Chloe moved into a tiny, overpriced 2-bedroom rental, relying heavily on my parents, who were now completely isolated socially, but had to support the new family. I heard through a distant cousin that the 2 of them were miserable. The initial rush of destiny had faded, replaced by constant money worries, the stress of a newborn, and the relentless social cold shoulder. They had everything they claimed to want, a relationship and a baby, but they had sacrificed peace, security, and integrity to get it. My life, though initially shattered, was rebuilt on solid ground. I used the money from the house sale to buy a condo 10 states away, and started a new job where no one knew my past. I cut out every single person who had attended that tribunal dinner. Parents, cousins who sided with them, and former friends who questioned my cruelty. The process was lonely, terrifying, and deeply painful, but it was also the greatest act of self-respect I have ever performed. They thought I would quietly disappear. They thought they could leverage my strength to protect their comfort. Instead, I taught them that true strength is knowing your worth and setting fire to everything that dishonors it. I lost a fiancé, a sister, and my entire family, but I gained my freedom, my fortune, and my unshakable sense of self. So tell me, was I too cruel? Or did I simply serve them the consequences of their actions, 50-50?